Hola, ¿qué tal amigos de Hoy Wisconsin Today? Bienvenidos a otra nueva edición de Hoy Wisconsin este martes 25 de octubre del 2022. Hello and welcome to a new edition of Hoy Wisconsin Today, tonight, October 25th, 2022. La trilogía de Halloween está llegando a su fin. The Halloween trilogy is coming to an end. James Jude Courtney repetirá el icónico papel de Michael Myers una vez más. Halloween End, and today James Jude Courtney reprised the icon role of Michael Myers one more time. And he is with us tonight. ¿Cómo estás el día de hoy, James Jude Courtney? Acá Michael Myers, the shape. How are you today?
Está bien. Es mi vida loca. It's been beautiful. How are you?
Doing fine. We are happy to have you tonight. It's been exciting. There is a lot of things that we want to ask you because Halloween ends. It's basically Halloween ends, the final entry in the Halloween reboot trilogy. If this is true that it's going to end, Michael? James?
It's ending for me. It's ending for Jamie. It's ending for the director, David Gordon Green. It's ending for everybody involved in these three. So yeah, for us, it's the end.
And how do you feel about it? Because there was a hello about 4 years ago, and I believe it's the same crew for the three movies all along. And then how difficult or emotional was the goodbye?
Oh, it's bittersweet. I mean, on one hand, we're family. You know, it's a big close family. We work so hard together, and we love each other a lot. But on the other hand, it's good to put this character down. It's deep, it's heavy, it's really hard work. So I'm glad to move on to other things. Though this has been the highlight of my career thus far.
James, many people are talking about this movie. It is exciting. There is a lot of, things happening in this movie. How this movie is different because there is like emotional, it's shocking. There is, it's going to be the finale. Tell us a little bit about that. How different is this movie?
Well, it's really, I think this should be viewed through the lens of one movie. Halloween 2018 being the first act, Halloween Kills being the second act, and then Halloween Ends is the third act. So if you look at it as one big movie, then the through line and the themes that we entertain in these films all come together. And in the beginning, Halloween 2018 is about female empowerment, about addiction, about family issues, about mental health issues. In Halloween Kills, it's about mob mentality and how prescient was that. I mean, this was well before January 6th that we shot that movie. And then Halloween Ends is about persistence. It's about never giving up, never give up, never give up. And I always say, if I look in the rearview mirror of my life, the highway is littered with bodies of people who quit too soon. The message here is never give up. Always keep trying.
Thank you, James. What can you tell us about the movie that is not a spoiler? I know many people watch it already because it's the Halloween season, it's the spooky season. It's in all theaters and it's in Peacock. It's starting on October 14. Halloween, it's all this weekend along. And tell a little bit about the movie that is not a spoiler for people to go and watch it.
Well, it's once again, David Gordon Green, the director, has put Easter eggs in the film. So my suggestion is to see it in the theater, but if you can, but then to stream it on Peacock, because you're going to see things that you need to see it more than once. You need to see it more than once. It needs to be seen several times to see the little Easter eggs, the little gifts, the little nuances, the subtleties that David put in. It's a special film that way.
Thank you. We have a few questions from the audience. We have some of them are repeat, but to all your Halloween fans, they are asking, is this going to be the end? Are you going to retire? Are you going to pass the mask to someone else like you did in one of the Halloween movies?
Well, like I said, we agreed to do 3 movies. Jamie, myself, David, Andy, all of us agreed to do 3 movies. So for us, it's the end. You know, whether Malek Akkad, who owns the rights, you know, whether he makes another Halloween film in 10 years or so, I can't speak to that. I mean, it was 7 years after the Rob Zombie films. So, and if they made one in 10 years and they invited me back to do, I don't know. It all depends on where I am in my life, what I'm working on. I will never stop working. I will never stop working. First of all, I believe men are made to work. And so I think it's really important for a man to always work, even if it's retiring from his profession and doing something else, community service, whatever. So for me, I will never stop making movies. It brings me so much joy.
Now, tell us a little bit, and I know we talked about this in last year, but how do you share the role of mayors with Nick Castle? Because people are asking, like, you know, this was so important in the movie.
Well, okay, Nick Castle did one scene in Halloween 2018, and we inhabited the same role, which was we were hoping would happen. He and I have never talked about the character. He gave me no information about it. I made my own choices with the character. Nick and I are very, very good friends. I mean, I literally just hung out with him at his grandson's birthday party a few days ago. It was in one scene in 2018. He wasn't in Halloween Kills in any scenes, but he was the breath. Publicity got a little crazy with that, and they gave him credit where the credit really belonged to me for doing the role. But you know, Nick and I have a great friendship. It didn't bother us. We're in great shape. And then Halloween Kills, Nick is not in it as the Shape or Michael Myers. He is in it as another character, a very fun and funny character. So you know, Nick and I have really enjoyed this ride together. It brought us close together as friends. But Nick is happy to have seen my success, and I'm certainly happy to have him as the breath of the Shape's life in every movie. It's really cool.
And how was different to work from the making of the Halloween Ends to the other films in the franchise?
Well, it was the Halloween Kills was the most brutal, of course, physically, but both, you know, Halloween 2018 and Halloween Ends were very, very physically demanding. Bruised ribs, hematomas, you know, it was very emotionally demanding. Long nights, and Halloween Ends also was very physically demanding. I didn't work as much. As you can see, I'm not in the film as much as I was in Halloween Kills. But for the first time ever, there's a scene where I'm slammed down on the ground for the first time ever, and I've done thousands of fights. For the first time ever, I worried about my spine because I got cracked so hard, and I got a concussion on that shot. So, you know, yeah, you know, but I've had a few. It hadn't affected me, you know. It's all good. But it's a part of filmmaking. And especially if you're an action actor, if you're a physical actor like I am, you're going to expect to get injured. I like it. It's fun.
And you know, this is something that all your super fans, you know, are always waiting for, all those things. And I'm glad that as an actor, you are living, you know, your role. Now, another question that I have: what does this movie do that audiences haven't seen in the other Halloween films? Because, you know, there is some people who have watched the films, other people who doesn't, and you know, but kids love you. Adults from people from the 1980s love you. Like, you have a super fan club, James.
It's really beautiful because the fan base is there is no differentiation. It doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the profession, it doesn't matter how much money people make, it doesn't matter what language they speak or what, you know, where they're from, or, you know, nothing matters. What matters is we all have a shared passion for this franchise. And so I'm so fortunate to meet, you know, fans from all over the world, and people who speak different languages, people who are deaf and sign. And it's, you know, it's so wonderful to know that we can all come together and share a passion for something and put everything else behind us.
And you, we talked last, year, and I know in different interviews you have called the shape the role of a lifetime. Do you still feel that way now in 2022?
Absolutely. And the finale between Jamie and I, the big buildup, the big fight between Jamie and I, is hands down the most powerful thing I've ever done in my career. And she feels the same way. She feels that our fight scene was the most powerful thing she's ever done. And so to have an actor of that caliber to say that the scene I got to work in with her is the most powerful thing she's ever done is really touching. And for me, it still is the role of a lifetime.
I feel that, you know, I have a video for you. I hope you like it, because kids, we are talking about your super fans. I'm trying to find the video clip right now. It's kind of English and Spanish, because he's a huge super fan of yours. This is Ruben. Let's see what he's saying to you, to James and Michael Myers.
Hi, James. I'm your big fan, and I want to know, how did you plan your career, and how do you plan it out during your life? And I want to know if you like doing those movies. And my name is Ruben. Send me a hello.
James.
Ruben, muy inteligente, amigo, muy inteligente. That's a great question. That's a great question. So, Ruben, this is the way it works in my life. What I've learned is recognizing where our talent lies is really important. So recognizing in ourselves, are we good at math? Are we good at science? Are we good in athletics? Are we good? Where are we good with plumbing? Are we good with mechanical objects? And then once we learn what our talent is, we have to work hard, because hard work is going to make our talent grow and grow and grow. And sometimes hard work is even better than talent, because if we work hard enough at something, we can become very talented. But in the end of the day, persistence, keep working, keep trying, keep learning, keep growing, never give up, never give up. So what I've done is I've lived my life that way. And what I have found is the universe brings me what I need. And so just like this role of Michael Myers, they called me. I didn't go after it. They called me. But because I've done so many years of working hard on my craft, working hard on my talent, working hard on my body, and showing up and doing movies, I got to the place where they called me. And this is the way it will work in your life too, my friend. If you work hard, if you recognize your talent, and it's gonna take work, man. It's gonna take work. But if you persist, you will succeed. Absolutely.
Thank you, Michael. Qué hermoso. And other questions that people have. Bonnie Bustos, she, and I know we talked last year during the interview about that, but I was, you know, in a bonfire one day, and I was telling her, you know, I'm going to get to interview one more time James, Jude, Courtney, aka Michael Myers, that shape. And she was like, Mari, I want to know how he prepared for his role. And I know the answer because we talk about it, but many people are still wondering, how did you prepare for that role? Because it's very intense, very dramatic, that it's, you know, it seems like Michael Myers has a lot of things going on. Please tell us one more time, James, how did you prepare for that role?
Well, there was a very, very talented, gifted character actor named Ted Knight. And when I was very young and I just moved out to Los Angeles, he gave me a gift. He said, if you want to be a good actor, emulate people, emulate the bartender, emulate the person walking down the street, emulate your mother, but don't copy the way they move their hands and copy the way they speak. Reach into their soul, reach inside them and grasp who they are. And if you can grab their soul, you will automatically talk like they talk and walk like they walk. So what I did was I watched the 1978 movie. I watched Nick Castle one time, and there was one scene where he's walking in a backyard, and in my head, I went, I got it. I got it. And so now all I had to do from that point was breathe, do the breath. I do a lot of work on breathing. And there's a man named Max Strom who is a very good friend of mine and teaches breathing around the world. He teaches breathing. I use his breathing techniques to draw this character in, to live it. And then when I'm done, which is really important, I breathe him out again so I don't carry him home with me at night.
That's interesting. Also, another question that we have from the audience, and I want to go ahead and clip it. Leonardo Moctezuma, he wants to know, ¿qué se siente de ser el ícono del cine de terror? How does it feel to be the icon of horror movies? That's an interesting question, James.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because mi novia, Sarah, asked me a couple days after the premiere, and when it came out, it was the #1 in the box office. And she looked at me and said, "How does it feel to be the star of a #1 movie in America?" And I was like, "I don't know," because this is all so. I'm still getting over the character. I'm still getting past having played the character. I think, Leonardo, ask me that question in a year because I'll have time to think about it. Right now, I haven't had the time to think about it. But I will tell you this: I feel very honored, and I am very grateful for David Gordon Green and Malika Akkad for having put me in there, and I'm very grateful for working with Jamie Lee Curtis and all the wonderful, talented people that I got to work with. So I think I'll stick with gratitude right now.
Thank you, James. You are so down to earth. And I have a special request. This is very special to me because my son is going to be, hopefully in the future, a filmmaker. He wants to be like a director. He has a YouTube channel. He's Terror Master 783. And I want to ask you if you can make a video with him in the future.
Well, the future is wide open. So we can definitely have that discussion and see where we go. I would suggest to you, if you want to be a director, look at directors, like not only look at the work they do, but also read about them if you can. Read about their stories, read books about them. Benicio del Toro comes to mind right now. Brilliant director. So, get in his head. And as far as you and I working together in the future, I think we can make that happen.
Thank you. And we still have to do something. Still have to travel to your estate, your home, to do something, James. Okay? I will bring my son along.
All right, there you go. And it's beautiful here. It's beautiful. I'm sure it's just as beautiful as it is up in Wisconsin.
Thank you, James. And I have a guest speaker today. He's special. He's your fan #1. Emmanuel Espino is one of my former students, TV and video production student. He's currently working in a TV station here locally. He's a fan #1. Last year, he missed the interview with Jill. And today, I was like, Emmanuel, you have to be here because he got a lot of fans in Wisconsin, and you are the fan #1. Emmanuel, go ahead. Welcome to Hoy Wisconsin today. And here are you with your, favorite actor.
Hi, James. How's it going?
It's going great, Emmanuel. How are you?
Not too bad. On my lunch break in my car.
Awesome.
But thank you for having me. Thank you, Mariela, for reaching out again. I'm happy to be here. James, these films have been awesome. It is great seeing Michael Myers back in theaters. I saw the Rob Zombie ones, and then I remember back in the early 2000s there was Halloween Resurrection. But yeah, it's just great seeing him back in theaters again. Thank you for bringing him to life. Got probably 100 questions, but I know we can't get to them all. I guess my first question would just be like, I don't know, the stunts are just amazing. I really love that firefighter fight in the last one, Halloween Kills. Just what was it like filming that?
Oh, it's so much fun. And first, I got to give props to Aaron Armstrong, who was the stunt coordinator, who was actually my stunt double on Halloween Ends. And he ended up doubling me in Halloween Ends on a couple of long shot fight scenes in the tunnel because I had to be in makeup having special effects put on me. So he stunt doubled me on Halloween Ends, but he was the coordinator. So he worked out all those fight scenes and he did the same thing in Ends with Kevin Scott, who was the stunt coordinator on Halloween Ends. But really, I have to give props to Aaron because Aaron was the one who created the really, really excellent timing and all the wire work, and then he brought in very, very talented stuntmen who, because I'm getting kicked, like for instance, getting beaten. I mean, we're fighting with very heavy instruments that can really injure people or kill them, and so I love that. I love being put on the spot. I love the danger of having to keep people safe, the danger of the possibility of injury or death, especially in the fire. Fire is incredibly dangerous. It makes me go into this very centered, grounded place. So, challenging my body physically, challenging my mind, challenging my heart, to make this the best it possibly be. Oh, I kid around that the Dalai Lama should call me up when I do these scenes because I am so grounded and centered.
Okay. Yeah, and then speaking of, you mentioned camera angles. There is the long shot or the long take of the tunnel fight, and then kind of circling back to that firefight again. A shot that really stuck out to me was kind of the point of view shot. There was a camera through the cracked helmet of the firefighter. That's a really, really cool shot. So did you kind of have to coordinate to kind of make sure you were always in the frame of that specific camera?
Well, what happens is when you've done enough work like I have, it becomes second nature to hit marks. It becomes second nature to know, where the parameters of your shot are, especially if, once you know lenses. I mean, so I'll ask an operator what he's running. You got 100 on that? You got a 35 on that? What do you got a 50? And so basically I'll know my frame line from there. For instance, when I'm killing Andy's father in 2018, and I've got the wind chimes wrapped around his neck and I'm choking him and it looks like he's fighting for his life. What's really happening is he's fighting for his life and about to get off camera. I'm fighting just to keep the guy in frickin' frame. So it looks like I'm beating the hell out of him, but really I'm just trying to keep the dude in front of the camera because he was going wild all over the place. But when you've done it enough, what a pro does is always aware of his light, always aware of his marks, always aware of the camera. And so, we never missed on those shots. It's just about getting the right one, but we never missed.
That's cool. So now what's it been like just to wear the iconic mask of Michael Myers and just to play this character for the past couple of films?
Well, it's like Mariela and I were talking about this earlier. Is I have to. It's going to take me a while to process this because I couldn't allow myself to intellectualize the character while I was playing it because once I found the essence of that character, I had to live it, and so I needed to show up in makeup on Halloween Kills for the very first day and Halloween Ends in the very first day and be in the exact same place I was in 2018. And in order to do that, I had to not think about it. I had to just do it. I just had to be it. So now that the premiere has happened, now that the film is released, over the next months, as time goes, I'll be able to roll it through my mind and think about it. So, like I said, ask me that question a year from now. I may have an answer for you.
All right. What's been what was your favorite kind of stunt that you had to do throughout the three different movies?
Well, my favorite scene, hands down, is the finale with Jamie and I. The most powerful thing I've ever shot in my life. However, my favorite, other than that, is the fire stuff. Fire's dangerous, man. And when I was doing those fire scenes, like going through the house, I had to count the steps from the back of the house to the front of the house because I was wearing 2 Nomex suits soaked in fire retardant gel. I had a Nomex hood on underneath the mask. The flames were so hot that I had to close my eyes and not breathe, count the steps, holding my breath through the house. Then I had to count the steps to the edge of the porch, at which point I could open my eyes and breathe, because the fire would have burnt my eyes. It would have burnt my lungs. When I did the fire scenes on the stairs on the safe house, that was so hot that with 2 Nomex suits on, soaked in gel, that when you're sitting in front of a fire, like a campfire, and it's cold outside, so your back is cold, but the fire is warm, and the front of your jeans is burning, and you want to move, but you don't want to leave, but it's too hot, and finally, you got to move. That's how hot it was immediately. My body was burning. And then in a fire scene like that, you wait for the bite. And as soon as it bites you, then you've got 7 seconds to get out, or you're going to start burning. Your skin is literally going to start burning. So I did 2 takes. First time I got bit in the leg. Second time I got bit in the neck. And it's just really dangerous. And you've got to stay very calm, because if you move too fast or you breathe too deep, you're toast, man. Not figuratively, literally.
That's cool. Any other horror projects that you're attached to at the moment, or any ones that you would like to visit?
Yeah, actually, we're working on right now. I can't talk about it when they talk about
of course.
And I'm also working on a coming of age story of a high school soccer player, which I think is inspirational and uplifting. And of course, football being the international sport of choice. And then I'm working on a TV show as well that has something to do with horror. So we've got some horror stuff coming in, man.
Awesome.
That's great,
Cool.
James. And I already was telling Emmanuel to James that I'm going to bring him to Wisconsin for a QA meet and greet next year. And we were talking about also every time he does a movie or a TV show, he's welcome in Wisconsin today to share those exciting news. And, we are fan number 1s of his. We need to have him in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there. I've been through. I would love to visit now as an adult. Yes, absolutely.
And James, a lot of people, and I know last year, and are asking me if you know Spanish. They are asking me, does he love Latin American food? What heritage, that he has any connections with Latino heritage? I know we talked about last year, but people who have all these questions, please go ahead and answer all these questions from your super fans number 1s that we are watching you tonight.
Okay. Primero hablo poquito español, pero con mucho gusto, pero poquito. Mi tía María de la Paz es mexicana. Mucho comido. Está bien. Oh my God, her food, the cooking is so good. I love Latin culture. In fact, my fiance is from England. And when we went to Los Angeles for the first time, to Nick Castle and I were signing autographs, and I said, wait until you meet the Latino culture. Wait until you get in and see how close the families are and how beautiful the people are and how joyful they are. And so, and she, when she started meeting all the Latinos in California, she was like, oh, you're so right. It's so amazing. And so now, Fred Hernandez is a very good friend of ours. He represents, Edward J. Momos and, a few Latino stars. And so we'll go out with them when we're in the same neighborhood. And, and so she is becoming even more ensconced in the Latino culture. I have deep love and appreciation for Latino food. And I mean, I've gone to, as you know, I've been in South America, and I've practiced various rituals with shamanista. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful culture. And I'm really glad that, in the horror world, we all one family. And I'm so grateful that I get to see the world this way, where I get to see people from all different nationalities. And the Latino fans, man, they are hardcore when it comes to horror, buddy. Woo! It's amazing.
I think, Emmanuel, Latinos love horror movies. I think for me, the only horror movies that I watch are Halloween because of you. Otherwise, nightmares come to my head. But I love Michael Myers. I'm even getting the little pins because my nephews, my goddaughter, my son love you. Actually, look, Terror Master 783, my son is saying that he wants to do a Halloween special for my channel with Michael Myers next year. When we were talking about food, he's talking about burritos, enchiladas, Taco Bell.
My Aunt Paz would hit him in the head. She'd be like, no, you're gonna eat my food, not Taco Bell.
Frijoles, arroz. What's your favorite food, James?
Oh, it's so it depends on the restaurant. So when we were in Los Angeles recently, there's several different restaurants that we were exploring, and she was wanting to explore Mexican food. And so for instance, there's a place in Santa Monica called Gilbert's El Indio. I will only eat the burritos. The burritos are just amazing. But then, there's another place in Hollywood, there's places all over. So I know where to get taquitos or huevos rancheros. So, so it really depends on the restaurant, what I think the best meal there is. And yeah, I love food.
Now we are getting hungry. Go ahead, Emmanuel, with more questions. I know we have him for 45 minutes. He's all ours right now. We're still having a few more minutes.
I guess to go along with your food plate of food, what's your go-to beer?
My go-to beer is an IPA. It's and that started because my brothers have owned 23 restaurants and bars, and they opened some of the first microbreweries in the Southeast. And so once I tasted craft brews, I couldn't drink normal beer anymore. So an IPA is my go-to beer.
Nice. Well, if you come to Wisconsin, we can get you a nice 6-pack of some local IPAs. Yeah, there's a lot to choose from up here.
Oh, but there is. Well, it's like the beer drinking capital of the world, isn't it?
Yep,
Yes.
beer and cheese.
Beer and cheese, and the Green Bay Packers and the Milwaukee Bucks, NBA.
There you go, man. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers has made a lot of the shamanic work that I did in South America. He's been making that popular of late, and I can say that was a big part of the character I played, doing the shamanic work I did in South America, in Peru.
And James, I know because of your history, you moved to LA. You work as in the Universal Studios as a tour guide, and you have done a lot of different things. Did you ever meet Salvadorians in LA? Because my heritage is Salvadorian. Did you ever try Salvadorian food? Pupusas is on your bucket list.
No, I have. And it's so funny because I lived there so many years, and it depended kind of on who my friends were, or who the people were running with at the time. And in Los Angeles, people are very adventurous, so they try out all the different types of food that that all these different cultures have to offer. And I love going to different neighborhoods and the barrios, and it's amazing. I have a very good friend from the Dominican Republic who has a cacao farm, and so he sends me cacao, and so it's so beautiful to be in touch with these different cultures. And so when I get to Wisconsin, you can cook some Salvadorian food.
I will for sure, James. And something important, you are so down to earth, and we talk about different things at the beginning, and people want to hear from you. You talk about never give up. Ruben, he was awesome, and you give him good advices. But there is a lot of people who want to try to be in Hollywood. It is, how old do you consider being too late for being an actor or pursuing a dream? Because people think, oh no, maybe I'm 40. It's too late for me to try to be in Hollywood, either doing, maybe as a camera operator, or being a film director, or having the opportunity to be an actor. And I know you worked so hard in your life, James, and you are, one of those people down to earth that have done so many things, and you made it in the industry. What is your advice for those people?
I think it's like I said, I don't think it's ever too late to do anything. I think when we have a passion, we need to explore it. But that's where we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be honest with our talent, and we need to work. And I would submit that if someone's going to leave Milwaukee, say, and go to Hollywood, I'd say get to work now and start like honing your craft. If you want to be a camera operator, if you want to be a sound person, if you want to be, whatever you want to do, start working now. And work every day. And when you're not working about it, think about it. It has to be so that when you go out there, to go out, I'm in the 1% of the Screen Actors Guild. That means 99% of the people who are in the Screen Actors Guild don't make the living that I make, don't get the work that I get. So you have to work really, really hard to, persist and persist and persist and persist. But part of it is being honest about what we're good at. And if we don't see that we're really good enough at something, work harder at it. Or maybe working a different way. Or maybe if we think we want to be an actor, but we have a beautiful singing voice, maybe doing musical theater, maybe, so but I would never discourage somebody from doing this. Never, because even if you don't make it to the 1% that I'm living in, you are going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to grow as a human being. And that's the most important thing to me in the world.
Thank you, James. Any more questions, Emmanuel?
None that I can think of right now. I got a lot of my questions out of the way. It's just a little starstruck right now. Sorry.
But how do you feel about being here tonight, Emmanuel? About having this experience to meet James Jude, aka Michael Myers, and I know you missed it last year, and for me personally, this is like a blessing. It is a great opportunity. It's like one of those, that I get the butterflies and I'm like so excited. And I feel like a little girl, here with one of the best actors of Hollywood. How do you feel about that tonight, Emmanuel?
Oh, I feel very excited, especially with the way the world is right now. There was a time where I thought, movies weren't going to be back in theaters for a while, or they were just going to be on streaming services. But so, yeah, I'm very grateful we got to, meeting James tonight, and I got to see, him finish up, him and the rest of the cast and crew finish out their work with the 2 Halloween films that were kind of pushed back because of COVID-19.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very, very starstruck right now.
Thanks, man. It's we made the decision collectively to move the release of Halloween Kills back, because we knew a lot of fans would go to the theaters anyhow, and we didn't want to jeopardize the health of our fan base. And we also felt that it deserved being seen on the big screen. I believe that all 3 of these films deserve the big screen, but they also need the streaming, because you've got to look at it over and over and over to pick up the subtleties, that David Gordon Green has imbued it with, and some of the subtleties in the acting, and some of the transitional points. But also what I find myself being very grateful for is what we touched on earlier is the coming together of people from all different walks of life, all different nationalities, all different sexual orientations, all different religions, and they all come together, and I get to meet them at horror conventions, and we all become one people then. And to me, when you can make a film that brings people together, wow, man. I'll take the money, but shoot me in the head, man. I've done my job. You know what I mean? It's like, if I can be a part of something that makes other human beings all recognize that we're all one people, wow, that's the best. That's just the best.
And James, you have worked in so many different films. You work with Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Andy Garcia, Meg Ryan. There is any actor that you want to work with him, or someone who want to work with you in Hollywood? Like, how do you feel about having those opportunities, but also when somebody have that opportunity to work with you?
Wow. There are so many whose work I admire. And what I try not to do in my life is, because I believe in manifestation. I believe in the power of manifesting what we think about, what we, so I believe in positive affirmation. I say positive things to myself all the time. I envision things positively. I write myself checks and I put them on my desk and I look at them every single day. And so what I remind myself is I have goals. So for instance, with the role of Michael Myers, I would put into the universe that I wanted to be, that I was intending to be the next something, but I didn't know what that was. So I let the universe, the wisdom of God, fill that in for me. So I'd be riding my motorcycle or driving in my car, and I would say, James Jude Courtney is the next, and then I let the angels fill in the blanks. You know what I mean? And so, and I did this for years. I did this for several years, and sure enough, James Jude Courtney became the next Michael Myers. And so, I although I admire a great many actors, I try not to place a face on that. I'm just intending that I'm going to work with another amazing actor or actors sometime soon.
That's nice. And you are from Ohio, correct? With that, and you moved to Colombia, then you are living actually in South Carolina. And how do you feel about those moves? And when you go back and forth from those states, do you still having friends? What people say about your childhood? Do you still going to visit the school that you went? All these little memories, because I know you are the oldest of 7 brothers, correct? If
Correct.
I'm not mistaken. And I know your father, you start doing little things with a camera when you were a child. When you go back and forth from those years to now, James, what memories bring you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was lucky. I had 2, wonderful parents, and my brothers and I are all very, very close. And in fact, if every night for dinner, if we weren't at football practice or weren't at basketball practice or weren't at martial arts practice, we had to be at home for dinner, and that fostered a closeness in us. We're all very, very close. When I go back to Cleveland, when I go back to Bedford, where I grew up, I went to St. Mary's. I went to a high school called Holy Name for a year and a half before we moved to South Carolina. It brings back very warm, memory and very challenging memories. I mean, I was very little and I was picked on, and that's why I started martial arts. And doing martial arts has helped me make a good living, because if I weren't able to fight the way I fight, I wouldn't be able to play these characters. So in a way, the guys who picked on me when I was a kid did me a big favor in my adult life because of, starting martial arts in 7th grade. And then, moving back to South Carolina, I wanted to be near my nephews who are all state champion and some on the national champion level, soccer, rugby, wrestling. And so I wanted to, my very youngest nephew now is playing football, and he's definitely on his way to a college scholarship. And then now that I'm living in South Carolina, when I go back to Los Angeles, I realize that Los Angeles is my home, but that part of my life is done. I feel more at home in Los Angeles than anywhere in the world, and I know that part of my life is done. So I think we just have to trust that when we're guided to move or guided to do something, that we have I believe in guardian angels. I believe that I have angels that surround me and have guided me along this path. And I just try to listen. And when I wake up in the morning and I know it's time to move, then I move.
Thanks, James. And you are so down to earth. I will repeat it 100 times. Thank you for this interview. I feel like you are one of those, Hollywood actors that, give us that empowerment to keep going, to never give up, like you did at the beginning of that show. Like when Ruben, he was so excited, this little kid who is just fan number 1 also, like Emmanuel and I. And, I have a Terror Master 783 that he's also your fan number 1, asking you if you prefer Mike Myers or Michael Myers or both.
I think it's up to the fan, because the fan sort of owns a part of this. The fan has invested himself in this. So if someone wants to feel more, a little closer by saying Mike Myers, yeah, you know, why not? It doesn't hurt. If they want to call me The Shape or Michael Myers, just don't call me a jerk. I don't like that.
And what do you want to say to the director, because obviously you got that opportunity to work with Mark Green, and it's a really good opportunity for you. But what do you want to say to him?
Oh, and he knows this. How much gratitude I have, because, I fit the exact criteria that he wanted. But the most beautiful thing about him is how he trusts the people he hires, how much trust he imbued in me, how much he let me go to do exactly what I felt like doing. And then sometimes afterwards we'd play with other things, but almost always we used exactly what I wanted. And he checks his ego at the door. He doesn't need to be in control. He doesn't need to be the only guy who's right. He doesn't be the only guy who knows. He is hands down the best director I've ever worked with. And I've worked with some pretty amazing directors, Ron Howard included, Louis Mandoki. I mean, some really, really amazing directors. So, to have the opportunity to make 3 films with a man who I consider to be the best director I've ever worked with, how good does that get?
Thank you. We have more questions. We have Mike Johnson. He's saying, how are not more people watching this? He's saying that we have it in different places. Thanks for doing this stream. James, you did a phenomenal job playing Michael Myers, and I mean that sincerely. What do you want to say to Mike Johnson?
Mike,
thank you, Mike Johnson.
Go ahead. Thank you, Mike Johnson. No, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And something that this, for me, it's special because, the fact that someone likes enough what I do to pay money to go see a movie, and the fact that I get to be a part of somebody's joy. I mean, I know, because I love films. And when I go to a film and I really enjoy it, everybody who made that film was a part of my joy. And so I feel blessed that I get to be a part of your joy, Mike, because, at the end of the day, without you, I don't get to do this, So if you and everybody else who's taken the time to, to enjoy these films are touched by them, then, know that we, not just me, but Jamie and David and all of us are touched by you. And we have sincere appreciation for you.
Yes, thank you, Mike. And we are live streaming via YouTube, via Facebook at Hoy Wisconsin TV, via my channel, Mariela Godinez Munoz. It's like we are streaming in several different platforms, Mike. And I feel like I have most of my followers because I'm a content creator on Facebook. Please follow us. I can see that people are sharing through Facebook because I was monitoring, and we have like about 200 something shares in Facebook or more. Like I'm trying to monitor, James, with 3 different computers, but while I'm doing this conversation. But thank you, Mike. And he's asking, let's say, Mike, I don't have my glasses, James. I'm trying to do this very nicely tonight. But Mike is saying, go ahead, James.
You're more than welcome, James. You're very much part of my joy. Thank you, brother. That's exactly why we do it. I mean, it's easy to say, well, we have a job, we have a paycheck, but we truly do. Every one of us are fans of the franchise, and we all talked about constantly doing what we wanted, our best for the fans. And so, as far as each film being what it is, being a movie and making a movie is very much like playing on a football team. And if you're going to win a championship on any team sport, you have to buy into the coach's vision. You have to buy into the coach's plan, his program. And so it was my job to show up, to buy into David Gordon Green's program, to buy into what his vision was, and to make that vision a reality. But we all did it with the intention to make you happy. Mike, and everybody like you.
Thanks, James. And with the Halloween ends and Jamie Lee Curtis being the last movie as well, what do you want to say to her? Because this is also her last time playing Laurie Strode. You know, it's like this was like a family. What do you want to say to Laurie?
Well, you know, it's. I mean, I've had the opportunity to speak with her, you know, directly. I mean, after we're done filming, to have not only to have the direct conversation and talk to her, but to also, you know, give her gifts and write her notes. And she is a poster child for an empowered woman. And I truly believe in my heart that empowering women empowers men, because when an empowered woman enters a room, she empowers everybody around her. And so as women, you know, so as soon as like Jamie Lee Curtis walks into a room, she empowers everybody around her. And she empowered us as creatives, as actors, as directors, as writers. And you know, so what she gives as a human being, what she gives to the Children's Hospital, what she gives to community, what she gave to us is just immeasurable. She's an amazing woman, and I would hope for every woman to look at her as a symbol of what you can be as a woman.
Thank you, James. And I'm trying to read all the comments from Facebook, from Hoy Wisconsin, and my page. It's hard to keep track of all the comments, but we are happy to have you. And please invite everyone, because this is the spooky season, October, fall, Halloween. This coming weekend is the right time to get the Michael Mayer costumes for all the Halloweens, but also to go to the theaters and to watch you and Peacock. Go ahead and invite everyone, James, to watch.
Absolutely. I want to invite everyone to celebrate the season, celebrate Halloween, celebrate the movie, celebrate the holiday. You know, get your costumes on, get your Michael Myers mask on, get whatever your favorite horror character, your favorite monster, whatever it is you want to be. Get out and be with community and have fun. Get to the theaters, see this film in theaters, but get it on Peacock, because I'm telling you, you've got to see it over and over and over. You've got to see it several times to see all the magical things that David Gordon Green put in there.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I keep calling you Michael, James. Like, to me, you are both. You know that. And Emmanuel, I think if we make that trip to South Carolina, you have to come with me, because we have an idea. Michael Myers will be scaring Mariela, and she will be running all over the town, you know. It's going to be like a spooky Halloween little theme for Mariela's show. What do you think about that, Emmanuel?
Oh, that would be awesome. That'd be definitely a good time. Be a good time. You could be the next Scream Queen.
We can make a short film.
You better wear your running shoes.
Yeah.
I will. I've been thinking about that idea. It's still in my bucket list. And thank you so much, James, for this opportunity. You know, I'm watching and I'm monitoring like Facebook. Like, we have about 182 in one of the pages. We have about 200. We have about 90, because we are live streaming in different platforms. It's like people are commenting. I cannot see all the comments. My apologies. Y pido disculpas a todos aquellos que no puedo monitorear. Yo sé que esta entrevista es en inglés y en español, pero estamos muy contentos de tener a James, Jude, a Crowley, a Michael Myers, The Shape, aquí en Hoy Wisconsin Today. Sabemos que se están moviendo los comentarios. Yo sé que muchos de los fans están en YouTube, en Facebook, en LinkedIn. Estoy transmitiendo vía Instagram, pero gracias, James. We appreciate it. Gracias, Emmanuel, también. Thank you so much. I feel like it's been exciting. Like, I don't want to let you go, James, but I know you gotta go. Thank you for your time. Anything else that you want to say to James before we, get to the end and Halloween Ends interview?
Oh, I have one more question actually. Speaking of the get your Michael Myers mask, I actually do have one. It's it can get very very hot, very latexy. I just want to. What was on the inside of the burned mask? Is it still latex, or is there some other kind of fabric that's put on it? Is
It's
it
all
breathable?
all latex. It's all
Oh,
latex, and they're really beat up. My masks, because I have the hero masks. I have the masks that I wore in, and there's only one hero. There's several masks, like a few masks. One that was made for a stunt double, one that was made for fire, one that was made for, and then one that was made for my face. And so and then there's a couple that we used for different things that I wore once or twice, but there's only one mask that I wore almost every day, and those masks are called hero masks, and I own them, and yeah, so it's and it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable in there.
Yeah, I kind of have a tradition where I put on the costume, I hand out candy. The people seem to love it, and after an hour, you get sweaty under that.
Yeah, you do, man. Yeah, you do. But all the more power to you, buddy, for doing it.
That's exciting. And I want to show people your website because they can actually go to your website and get to see the movies, but at the same time, if they want an autograph or something being autographed, they can go to your website, correct, James? And
Yeah.
they can get that personalized item, and you will be signing and then sending it back to them, correct?
That's true, but please ask them to follow all the directions, because if they don't follow the directions, I'll never see it. I don't go pick them up. They're sent to a place where an assistant picks it up. They process that stuff, and if they haven't followed directions, then I'll never see it. So
Okay.
Don't send something without following directions.
Ok, así que asegúrense de que si ustedes quieren tener un objeto personalizado y firmado por James Jude, ustedes lo tienen que hacer y seguir las instrucciones correctamente. Lo tienen que hacer de esa manera. Dice, they are saying thank you to you. And Halloween ends like live streaming ends. Oh, because we were saying that we are going to end, Halloween ends. People are like, yeah, this is like the ending, but it's not the ending, James, because I know there is new things coming up for you, and you will share those exciting news with Hoy Wisconsin Today followers and fans of yours.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much, Mariela, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Nice meeting you.
See you. Take care, James.
Adiós.
Adiós. Hasta luego. Muchísimas gracias, James. Buenas noches. Talk to you soon. I appreciate it.
Yes, me as well.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Y thank you, Emmanuel. We appreciate it too. It's been an exciting night. Everyone is saying adios. They are saying, well, make sure I follow the directions when I visit the website. You see, James, they are saying they will follow the directions when they say, this is awesome. Hey, Mariela, the Talented Game HD. Oh my God, we are getting more comments now that you are leaving. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We are so excited. Thank you, James.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
See you.
Gracias, Emmanuel. Thank you. Adiós.
Adiós.
Adiós. Estamos muy agradecidos por esta entrevista. La verdad que estamos fascinados. Lamentablemente, la entrevista fue en inglés. No podemos traducirlo en español. Gracias, Emmanuel, nuevamente por haber estado aquí. Gracias a Rubén, que nos mandó ese video fantástico. Lo vamos a repetir nuevamente para todos aquellos que se perdieron el video de Rubén. Es un video muy emocional donde Rubén le pregunta a Michael Myers acerca de sus roles. Veámoslo de nuevo.
Hi, James. I'm your big fan, and I want to know, how did you plan your career, and how do you plan it out during your life? And I want to know if you like doing those movies. and my name is Ruben, sent me a hello.
Ese fue Rubén, así es que gracias Rubencito, saludos a la familia Ábalos Campos. Estamos verdaderamente muy contentos. Gracias, thank you Mike Johnson for your message. I'm so happy for doing this streaming. This is like a blessing for me to have that opportunity to interview James Jude Courtney, aka Michael Myers, the shape, to have that opportunity to have fans number one guest speaker, Emmanuel Espino and Ruben, Terror Master 783, my son who love Michael Myers. As I mentioned, this is the only scary movie that Mariela will watch because we love James Jude Courtney. And then Terror Master 783, hello again. But thank you, please follow James Jude Courtney and all his platforms and social media. If you want an autograph being signed, please follow that directions, visit his website. But also don't forget that this is the Halloween season where you can go and watch the Halloween Ends. This is the trilogy getting to the end. Thank you for watching, everyone. We are so excited. Aquí está Terror Master 783 who wants to say bye and hello to everyone. James is gone, but he got all your messages. Yeah. Are you excited? Mm-hmm. It is a great opportunity. Let's say have all a blessed good night. Thank you, Mike Johnson. Thank you everyone for watching Hoy Wisconsin Today. Gracias por haber sintonizado Hoy Wisconsin Today esta noche. Y recuerden que regresamos el jueves con Mujeres con Poder. Mujeres con Poder son 8 mujeres que han creado un grupo aquí en el estado de Wisconsin. Así que un abrazo, compartan, por favor. Dios me lo bendiga y esta fue una gran oportunidad. Créanme que tenía yo la piel chinita, muy emocionada de estar aquí con el ícono del cine de terror, Michael Myers, The Shape, quien es interpretado por el ícono de cine, James Jude Courtney. La verdad que estamos muy contentos, así es que nos despedimos, no sin antes decirles que gracias por habernos acompañado. Aquí los dejamos con la página de internet de Halloween Ends y recuerden de que esta es la temporada en la que usted va a disfrutar de las películas de Halloween, así es que la trilogía termina. Se estrenó en los cines este pasado 14 de octubre y usted la va a poder ver hasta este próximo fin de semana de Halloween en las películas, pero también recuerde que durante todo el año va a poder usted disfrutar de estas películas de Halloween, así es que hágalo, vaya al cine o si no, sígalo en Peacock, en streaming, así es que tengan muchísimas buenas noches, muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes. Thank you so much for watching and see you on Thursday con Mujeres con Poder. Hasta la próxima. Chao, chao.